Hello, everybody. We're on week 6, and I want to go over this week's final paper, which is a 200-point paper, and it's a larger paper. It's 8 to 10 pages using APA style. So for the final paper, and this, by the way, is the only paper that's due. You do have your discussion and your responses that are due, but this is the only paper that's due this week. So if there's any confusion that you looked at the syllabus and saw that, we are going by the modules, and I had sent an email, and I also sent a video last week explaining that. So for the final paper, this paper, students are encouraged to choose a topic or theme that was addressed in either the readings or online discussions and develop a thesis argument. This argument is to be original, and the students should not merely summarize the readings or other articles. Rather, students should utilize these materials to develop and bolster an original argument. Your mini papers should reference any appropriately assigned readings, as well as at least 8 other sources relating to the topic. These sources must be peer-reviewed journal articles or scholarly books. They must be relevant and timely. Students must cite the sources summarizing information in their own words. Do not quote from sources, instead paraphrase using the APA editorial style of referencing. When you're writing your mini paper, it should appear as though you're an expert on the topic. If you do not know how to find scholarly articles, you are first encouraged to visit the library, and I encourage you to do that because they're there for you. You may also contact your instructor, and that's me. And I'm hoping right now you realize that I'm always here for you if you need to call me. Your paper should be between 8 to 10 pages using APA style. You will be required to cite your sources, a minimum of 2 sources. Keep in mind on this here, 8 to 10 pages, remember, is not your cover sheet and not your cite sheet. It's the guts of your paper. Now, you have an awful lot of areas that you can write on, so let's look at those. For the first chapter you had, when you went in and you can look at your PowerPoints to figure out which one you want to do, and that's what I'm looking at here for you. And I probably should have had these up for you. Childhood and delinquency. Boy, that's a broad chapter, isn't it? There's so many things that you can do on this paper. Use at risk. Go through your PowerPoints, find one. And so if you don't have the PowerPoints, I encourage you to write to me, ask me to resend them, go through your emails because I've sent them many times. The nature and extent of delinquency. You can do something on the recent shootings. You can do the violence in the school. Views of delinquency, choice, and trait. That's a very interesting topic to do. And there's an awful lot of scholarly articles on that. You can do sociological views of delinquency. As I said, there's an awful lot of things. Just go through your PowerPoints, find one that you like. If you don't know, all you got to do is call me. I'll be more than glad to help you find a good article to do, a good paper to do. But most importantly, enjoy it. Developmental, a lot of you are psychology majors in here. Doesn't get much better than this chapter, does it? That's chapter 5. So if you have any questions, if you want any information, just call me or text me. Texting is the best way because very often I have my phone on mute because I work with some kids. So feel free to text me and I'll get back to you as soon as I can on that. Now, the other thing I wanted to talk to you about is if you're looking for the scholarly papers, you can always Google Scholar. You can do that. You can, go onto Google Scholar and look them up. You can also go to YouTube and ask, how do I find scholarly papers? And that will help you. There's a great place to go as well. I also want to cover one more thing with you. My grades must be in by Wednesday. So that means I need your papers in as soon as you can. If there is a reason, if there's a documented reason you can't have them in time, you need to contact me and your advisor so we can get an extension for you. And those are not all that easy to do, but they are doable. So I will be there to help you with that if you need that. You'd get an incomplete, and they usually give you about 2 weeks, but you have to have a documented reason for that. Also, you have sent to you, it's a new form, and it has to do with review. And it's a review of me as an instructor. And that's important to me because every single time I teach a class, I learn from the people that I teach. And I hope you learn from me as well. I look for any information you can give that can make me a better instructor for you. So I wish you well. Feel free to call me if you have any, cares or concerns. Remember that this paper is due this Saturday at 11:59. Make sure that your discussions and your responses are in, and that's something I have to cover as well. Your discussions, there is no late time on those. Those must be in Thursday at 11:59. If they're not in, your discussions are not in, the discussions, not the responses. If the discussion is not in by 11:59 on Thursday, I have to give you a 0. I wanted to make sure I clarify that with you. All right. Have a good rest of the week. Good luck.